The goat, if you will.
I'm just nasty. I'm cold. I'm icy.
Wait, what?
Huh?
What was the last
I don't
one?
know. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to worry about it, is what I'm telling you.
I'm trying not to. There is still some sort of bug.
There's a moth in that light. Oh my gosh.
Gosh dang. We're being interrogated.
Become a patron, please.
Please.
On patreon.com/throne room. Welcome back to the throne room, actually.
The throne room.
Back with my boy Austin again. I brought the phone tripod this time. You know, normally when we're back here, we
Propped up with
books and all sorts of
random objects,
crazy stuff. So we're back in the 210. I came home to surprise some people.
Some
you know
people.
what I mean? So, but it's a good time.
The people.
How have you been
We
the
the
last 2
people.
weeks?
Good. I feel like this week was crazy with all the classes and figuring out what we were going to do with online stuff. And my anatomy and physiology teacher, she told us, she was like, when I finished my master's, I was doing it on a typewriter. So woman's been working at ACU for like 30 years.
Yeah.
So it's a change for everybody to go online, but I mean, we're working with it.
It's crazy,
you know?
yo. Think about like people with doctorate degrees that are like wrote their like thesis, or like if you're an engineer, like you do a capstone project, like doing that without the internet.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
without
crazy.
a computer to like type things.
It was just all books, and yeah.
I mean, like, what do y'all have like an equivalent to like a capstone? You know what a capstone is?
What
Capstone's like for at least for all engineers at A&M, and I think a couple other like health majors.
Right.
We have a capstone project which is what you do when you're a senior, and it's
Okay.
like you develop a whole area. Like it can be usually it's very specific because there's so many people doing a bunch, but it's like a research project.
Okay.
But it's like a real project that if very smart people think it's a good idea, they will actually put
They'll pick
research
it up.
to it. Yeah. And it's kind of a competition, right? So like if you win like your capstone for your class, like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So imagine doing that. I mean, that's been around for a while. So imagine doing that, with no internet, with like just books.
Just your own knowledge that you find.
Yeah, in a way, like boomers have that on us, man.
Mm-hmm.
In a way. They had to do everything that we're doing now without the internet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. No, we don't have. I don't think we have anything like at that equivalent. I mean, the closest thing I think would be like the amount of shadowing and stuff that you do. Especially if you want to do something beyond just kinesiology. Like if you want to do something like, I mean, like if I want to be a chiropractor. So like that kind of stuff. I think ours is called the health and. No, that's not. No, I can't remember what it is. But there's a specific program that, I mean, you go through that, and it just helps tremendously going into the medical field. And that's why, like, for us, we have, like, double the national average for acceptance into programs beyond for medical people.
Yeah.
So we're at, I think we were at least when I started looking into ACU, we were at, like, 90%.
Wow.
Which is pretty insane. It's high.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, it's accredited. It's good. It's good stuff.
It's accredited, you know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
We're
We're not out here like,
no.
I don't know.
But
not knowing
I will
what's
tell you
going on.
this. We talked about it briefly before we worked out. By the way, if you have a home gym, make sure like that your bar is 45 pounds, because the whole time the bar we were using was 50. It was a 55-pound bar.
Bro. Rookie mistake.
And we're like, wait, what's this thinner bar? Oh wow, it's definitely lighter.
Yeah.
Strip the weight, and it's like obviously there's at least a 10-pound difference.
Yeah.
At least a 10-pound difference. So, we're hitting, way
Different
more weight
weights
than we think we
thought.
are.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you what though. So I told, only you, Zach, and Alex are like the people that really know about it. But when I failed 300 3 times.
Yeah.
I failed it 3 times, and like I said, like I think I climbed too high too fast.
Yeah.
From going from 255 to.
Like even if you had hit, I think 275 in between there.
I think that's what I would've done,
I
man.
think that would have been better.
And again, once I failed it the first time, I could have hit 295.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what though, for the rest of the day, my body was in shock.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of weight.
My whole nervous system was dead. Like I was so tired.
Yeah.
I didn't want to talk. And it wasn't just that I was like upset about it, but like
Yeah.
there was a physical aspect to it where my body was just shocked.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like
You know?
my story about the whole like skydiving thing. Like
Oh, yeah.
after that,
Yeah.
like I think that was also an adrenaline rush, but I had a crash. Literally, I'm sitting there and I just like wanted to fall asleep at one point. It was crazy. So
That is scary.
a crazy
Go
story.
back. I think we told it 2 episodes ago.
did I tell that story on here?
Did you?
I think I probably did.
don't
I
know.
think so.
No,
I
I
can't
asked you when the most scared you've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go check out the first couples therapy 2 episodes ago. It's a great episode. It's me and him. But yeah, so we both have, and I've talked to a lot of engineering students, and you know, we're getting bogged down with just stuff like
It's crazy.
normally, my regimen is like 2 statics homeworks a week, 2 differential equations homeworks a week, and that's just for those 2 classes. I have 3 other classes I got to worry about, but that's whatever. Those are the biggest ones.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they're like, okay, we're not coming on campus because of this whole coronavirus nonsense,
Yeah.
and we're all stuck at home. We can't be on campus. We're not going to meet at all, right? So we're just going to give you double the work.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like,
It's
yo,
just-
and
it's
I mean,
crazy.
it's not like it's like 2 problems of statics. I mean, we're talking about like advanced truss analysis, probably
Right.
8 to 10 questions each.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's kind of repetitive, so you get better at it as you go along, but still, it's very complicated,
Yeah.
complex, like detailed oriented. I mean, stuff where you can't just like, 2 + 2 is 4 every single time. It's like
Right.
everything's a different scenario, and it's all very.
You got to take into account several
really got
variables
to
and stuff.
think
yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
So it's just like I wish, like I really think that I don't understand why they're thinking like, oh, they're not coming to campus, so let's give them more things to do.
Right.
What is that
I
thinking?
I think part of it is just like they're trying to make up for that class time. You know what I mean? And some of them either just don't want to meet during the scheduled time, or they just I don't know what it is.
I know
but
my
like,
statics guy is meeting on the class day.
really.
My DE professor, he just uploads videos and he's like,
Which is
watch
nice.
them
That's a
whenever.
nice one.
It's so nice.
I have an anatomy professor. My anatomy professor, she will upload videos, but then actually she wants us to meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And of course, she has different like learning teams, right? And of course, mine is at the 8 a.m.
Of
to
course,
8:10
of course.
slot,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. Love waking up that early. Shout out to her. I don't know why
Shout
I would
out
say that.
to her.
But
Come
I'm
on
not
the
gonna,
show.
I'm not going to use her name,
Come on the
honestly.
show.
But
No.
shout out. I mean, she's out here. But anyways, I mean, it's crazy. It's a lot of. It's early. I mean,
Yeah.
8 to 8:10 is like. I wake up for that and I go take a nap because I don't have anything like. Especially if I have class, I don't have anything till noon. So
Yeah.
it's like, why am I up right now? It's
Yeah.
just it's ridiculous.
No, I hear you, man.
Crazy.
I hear you. I definitely have been working so much on school this past week.
Yeah.
So the week before that was the week that I left here after spring break.
Yeah.
And I came back up to see stat.
The extended
and I
spring break.
worked. Yeah, I worked. And I got some work done. I got some good hours in. Got paid a little bit, and then this week I kind of took off because I was like, hey, Brazos County put out that shelter in place thing, which like we've already talked about. That's basically what was already happening.
Right.
They just gave it a name because it's less scary to the public if there's a name to it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just with anything. And so, I was like, hey, there's a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of school stuff I got to take care of. And plus, technically, I'm not supposed to leave unless it's like for food or like, necessity.
Right.
So we took off this week and we'll get back to it next week, I think. But,
Yeah.
it's so much. Like, I really don't even think I could work this week if I wanted to, just because it's been so much stuff.
It's ridiculous.
Like, literally, I think Thursday, because today's Saturday, but Friday was when I got in.
Yeah.
Thursday, I woke up, and I think I woke up at like 9.
Mm-hmm.
Started homework, did a little like aesthetic work, like some push-ups and sit-ups.
Yeah.
8, and then at about 11, I started back up again, and then I didn't stop until like 9:15.
That's
just
crazy.
at my desk, just plugging and chugging.
Yeah.
And I had a podcast on my TV, just playing in the background. Took a couple poops, took a shower.
Yeah.
And ate ramen. You want to know what I told you earlier, my
Yeah.
ramen recipe. So here's the thing. Ramen, right? I have 2 packs of ramen. You throw out the
pre-seasoning
yeah,
thing.
the packets, right? Okay, you put sriracha, soy sauce. I forgot the freaking pepper.
Is it just like crushed
It's
red
like
peppers?
it's like crushed red peppers, but it's finer than that.
Okay.
It's that. It's
Like a cayenne pepper.
cayenne pepper.
There
That's
it
what
is.
Cayenne pepper.
There it is.
It's-
If you had said the finer, I would have gotten it earlier.
It's cayenne pepper. It's Tony Chachere's, a little bit of salt.
Okay. So you got some sodium up in this hoe. I mean,
my poops.
bro, did you say Cholula?
Yeah, yeah,
Bro,
and some Cholula. Oh, it's great.
And soy sauce. Soy sauce has so much sodium in it.
Oh
It's
my
not even
god!
funny. It's
you can
ungodly.
go into like anaphylactic shock from the amount of sodium in there.
I mean, I don't know if that's the terminology, but yes, you could probably go
Dude,
into shock.
I'm definitely-
anaphylactic is
definitely-
definitely if you have a severe allergy. But yes.
Oh, dude. Oh, well, yeah. I don't know.
you have a severe freak out. If you have a severe allergy to sodium, I sincerely
That's
apologize.
the problem. But you'll probably be ripped up.
Well,
People
yeah,
on
but,
low
I mean, you
sodium
need
diets
sodium.
are cut
Yeah, but
up,
you need
dog.
you
I'm
still
talking about
need
low
sodium.
No, I'm not talking about no sodium. I'm talking about low sodium
That's what I'm
diets.
saying. Though,
Those kids are
if you're
shredded.
severely allergic to sodium, I think
that's
you have some issues. You guys have
You might not
big
make
problems.
it past one.
Yeah, because I mean, what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you literally like sweat salt. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's why you get those nasty like rings and stuff.
Do you remember? Well, you remember? There's gonna be a kid from our high school. I love this kid to death. Great
Right.
guy. You remember how sweaty he was? Do you know what I'm talking about?
yes, I know
you know
exactly what you're talking about.
Dude, the kid
Well, there were so-
sweats. I mean, we're talking about like when we're working out, getting off the bench. Like when he was finished with bench or like incline.
Yeah.
So
bad.
The bench
You'd have
was
to like.
soaked.
You'd have to like. I swear.
And he has a
that dude-
shirt on.
Yeah. No, I swear that dude should have had like a towel with him. at all
Love this
times.
kid to death.
Yeah,
Like,
no, love him.
I wouldn't change him out for any person.
I'll
ever.
never. I think the sweatiest. I think the worst I've ever been is when we played Cole. That might have been the worst amount of sweat. Just, I mean, I've sweat a lot, but that one was so bad because. Oh no,
Oh.
Saginaw though.
No, Sabinal was bad. You know what else was bad? I'm thinking about
Cole
it.
was bad because of how humid it was.
I'm thinking about it now. Yeah, Sabinal was bad because it was like the worst part
It
of
was
the
just so
day.
hot.
It was like 5 in the afternoon.
It was like
in
105
the fall.
degrees.
Yeah, that was bad. But I remember when we were walking in St. Mary's Hall our senior year. That halftime we were sitting like
that
kind
was
of
bad
by
too.
that. I remember because that's when shout out Grayson Gilbert. That's when Grayson told me that he was just
The
like, "Yo, I'm
story.
sweaty. I'm so sweaty right now that like if I were to pee myself,
Nobody
like,
would know.
Nobody would know because I'm already soaked."
Yeah.
And of course he did pee himself,
Right.
but like on purpose, like he let like half of it out because
Yeah.
he was just soaked.
That's quite the story. to
Yeah,
tell.
shout out Grayson.
Maybe we'll cut that in post. No.
We'll fix it in post.
Fix
We're
that
not
in
gonna
post.
fix it in post.
Not
We're gonna fix it in
Fix
post.
it in post.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
Um,
if you watch this or
Grayson, shout
any
out.
of those people,
He's doing great stuff.
Nah,
I
dude's-
assume.
dude's the
he's
goat.
crushing
I'm
it.
just
Crushing
saying,
life.
that's all I'm saying.
Crushing life.
Great
Always
dude.
been like a good-looking guy.
always a good dude
From
too.
from the time I came to Sax, always
Dude,
just
when he
a
got
killer.
here in 6th grade,
Yeah.
homie was just like everybody was on him. Like,
Oh yeah, man.
dude's a straight killer.
Yeah,
that's
we
all I'm
talked.
saying.
I was in a conversation with shout out Kendall. We were in a conversation with Alex and her last night, and just talking about like people from like Sax, like
Yeah.
old people. We were name dropping and just reminiscing on good times. You know,
Yeah.
just like you imagine, like you think about like when you were in middle school. And like we were looking ahead at your life, you're like, oh my god, I got to go through 4 years of high school,
Bro,
After
oh
this
my-
crap in middle school, like this was awful, and I got to go through 4 more years
Now-
and then get
now
to go to
you
college.
now you think about it, like
Like when you were in 7th
I'm
grade, you
straight
looked
up-
at like juniors in high school, and you were like, these
dude,
people
they're
are
the
gods.
goat. Yeah, no, yeah,
people
straight
are
up.
god
No,
kings, you
I
know?
remember looking up and seeing any like when I was in 6th grade, anybody in high school was just scary. I remember that. Just, I mean, you think about it though. I mean, from 6th grade to freshman year, you think about how much you mature. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you think about it, like you're entering what? Probably about 12 when you're in 6th grade. You're leaving at about 14, 15 when you're in. When you're going into your freshman year, about 14, 15, and then by the time you graduate, you're 18, 19 years old, maybe 17. But anyway, so, I mean, by that time, I mean, like, the amount of maturity from 12 to 18 is ungodly.
And then from where we are now, we're only sophomores. I look at like seniors in high school like children.
Oh yeah,
like little children.
No, I feel like I remember looking at them last year and feeling like they were infants, and it's like that doesn't even make sense. I'm only a year, and I mean that was when they were starting their stuff.
We're gonna
you know what I mean?
think.
Like,
We're
at the
gonna
beginning.
think. We're gonna think of when we're seniors and we're graduating college in 2 years. We're gonna think of like
yeah. I
how
mean, freshman year.
idiots we were. You know, like you're a sophomore in high school. You know nothing about life. Absolutely
No.
nothing.
I mean, you don't. But that's just a fact. Like, I mean, even when we're imagine when you're 45. And you look back at yourself when you were a senior in college. I mean, think about it. You know what I mean? Like, any point in life, you're going to look back at yourself and go, man, I was an idiot. But I think that, have you seen that speech by Matthew McConaughey where he talks about, like, I can't remember the exact order that he uses, but he talks about, like, he says there's, like, 3 points. Like, somebody that he's, like, who he's anyways, like, ultimately he's saying, like, who he's chasing or who, like, his hero is.
Oh yes.
And he's talking
I've
about, like,
seen that.
somebody came up to him and said, well, who's your hero? And he said, I don't know. And then he came back and he was like, well, who's your hero? And he was like, I've thought of it. It's me in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, and the guy's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, are you your hero yet or whatever? And he's like, no, because it's me in 10 more years.
Yeah.
He said, every single day of my life, I'm striving to be better than I was the day
Yeah.
before. And
No,
I
that's
think
very good.
I think that's actually a really good point.
That's very good.
I think that's a really good point. From him, who, say what you want, he's a different guy. He's goofy.
Oh, he's a
Great actor.
He's one of my favorite
goofy guy,
actors.
though.
He's one of my favorite actors.
I think most actors are pretty goofy, though. If you, like, sat down
They're
and
all
had a conversation with them.
They're all a little psychotic.
I think so. I think you have to be.
Everyone in Hollywood's a little psychotic.
I think, like...
You have to be.
No, that's a fact. I
Yeah.
think, like... But I think also when you... I mean, you look at dudes like Heath Ledger. You know what I mean? The dude literally, like... Dude, character... Like, actors that get so in-depth like that are just...
Yeah.
Insane.
But you know what I hate though? I hate when like guys like Jared Leto, like think that they can replicate that. You know the stuff he was doing on set of like Suicide Squad. Have you heard all about that?
Weird. He was doing weird stuff, right? I mean, I know that.
Obviously, like Heath Ledger was like he was actually doing like proper method acting. You know, for
right.
his Joker
because he like
role.
locked himself in one room.
Yeah,
for like 40 days.
For Suicide Squad, obviously you had Margot Robbie, you had Will Smith, and Jared Leto was their Joker.
Yeah.
And he was sending like used condoms to Margot Robbie. He was sending like dead birds to Will Smith, and they were like, "Dude, what are you doing? This isn't even like what the Joker would do."
Right.
Like you think that's the plot of Batman? Oh, there's a crazed maniac out of what's the insane asylum? Out of Arkham Asylum, out of Arkham Asylum, that's sending women used condoms. Ooh, and then the Dark Knight just gets inspired to stop this man.
Yeah,
no,
he's like, no, I gotta stop these used condoms.
That's not the plot of Batman.
That's ridiculous.
So yeah,
No,
but
he's, like,
that's
killing people.
fake. That's not real method acting. I can respect what Heath Ledger did, obviously, because
he went
dude,
insane.
crazy. How could you not? You know, and it worked out because it's the best. I think it's the best character role that we've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I mean he didn't have anybody to compete with Joker at that point. I think it was. I also think he's the best. I haven't seen Joker. I haven't seen the one by Joaquin Phoenix. I've heard it's good.
It's really good.
I've heard it's good. I think, as far as I've seen, I think it's the best one.
Yeah. No, it is. I still think it is. It's close.
I think he's just. It was just so. Like, even I remember the first time I saw it. It's just like it's bone chill. Like you want to like it. You're like physically uncomfortable the whole time.
Well, that's how it is with Joaquin Phoenix and Joker. I mean, he
Yeah.
does a really good job of making you like very physically uncomfortable. Like, there's parts of the movie where I wanted to stop watching the movie, you know. And it's like, obviously the famous. This isn't a spoiler because it's all over Instagram by now. You know the part where he's like dancing in the bathroom.
I think so. Yeah.
And
he's doing the weird like motions. Yeah.
What happens right before that? Like, you watch what he does before that, and then you watch him dance in a public bathroom like that, and it's like, this is a whole it's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I'm watching something I shouldn't be watching. This feels dark.
Yeah.
I feel gross right now.
Yeah.
Now, I will say the only thing I didn't like about Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is his voice. It was a little too high pitched for me, and that's like very nitpicky to say.
Right.
You know? I'm used to Heath Ledger, like, he has a kind of a grittier voice, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But Heath Ledger's kind of more up here.
Right.
And it's whatever. Luke Skywalker, who's the guy?
Mark Hamill.
Yeah, obviously Mark Hamill's Batman was a little not Batman. His Joker was a little higher up.
Mark Hamill played the Joker
in the cartoon. In like the Justice
Okay.
League.
I was
He
about to
played
say-
it. He played it the
I was
longest.
about to say he played a live action.
He voiced Joker.
Okay.
No, he voiced the Joker for the longest time.
Yeah.
And he's really good too.
Yeah.
He did a great job at that too.
Well, I mean, but Mark Hamill's like his voice is just crazy.
no, it's great.
Especially his older voice.
It's
you know what I
great,
mean? Like
yeah.
it's like I don't know. Did you watch Marriage Story on Netflix?
I still haven't seen it, man. You know, you keep telling me to watch it, and I always forget.
I'm telling you, like, you talk about, dude. So Adam Driver, the first experience that I had with this man was watching him play a spoiled, annoying Kylo Ren, where I wanted to throw up when he just started throwing a literal temper tantrum in the middle of the Death Star thing of that movie. You know
Star
what I mean?
Killer Base.
The Star Killer Base, which I'm not even going to go into Star Wars right now. But anyways.
I'm over Star Wars
so,
right now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I said that was my first exposure to this man, right? So I've seen him previously. I've kind of heard some stuff about him. Especially after watching that movie, like I had heard that he was a Marine. I kind of watched he had a TED Talk where he talked about his experience
Yes,
as a
I
Marine and
watched
things.
that.
That's that's really cool actually
Yeah.
to watch.
Yes, I have
So
watched that.
he's one guy that I look at him and go, you know, if I saw him on the street, I feel like he wouldn't be just completely crazy. You know what I mean? Like he's one guy that's like I think he's seen life enough that he kind of he's an actor, but he knows what's going on. You know what I mean? Like he's not like there are some actors where you're like, are they good? Like
Yeah.
are they tripping?
Yeah.
Anyways, so this man, I then watched Marriage Story. Let me tell you what. You talk about like a performance. Him and Scarlett Johansson like cranked this thing way out into left field.
Yeah.
Oh, way over. Like it's gone. It's
Yeah.
not coming back.
They crushed
Ball's
it.
gone. Nobody's gonna find it.
Crushed
I mean,
it.
I'm telling you the scene, and you can ask several people, just about anybody that's seen it. The scene where they're in an argument, where they're arguing, is just. I don't think you can beat that scene. Like it.
I've heard a lot of great
they're
things about
sitting,
that.
I mean, it starts with them sitting across from each other, and it ends with him literally like on his knees, crying like a baby, and she's like standing, like comforting him, crying like it's just like this, and I mean, it's about a divorce between him and
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson,
Yeah.
and it's just this. It's crazy.
That's
I mean,
wild,
it
man.
shows what people don't see in a divorce.
But like we all can relate to because we've all been
Right.
Not that, I'm
you've
not
probably
saying
seen-
we haven't like most people have been affected by divorce one way or
Right.
another, or like a relationship that you just want to pull your hair out. You know,
Right.
most people to some degree have experienced that, so it's very relatable, and I think that's why people liked it so much because. It seems like everyone can relate to some degree, if not
Right.
firsthand, secondhand.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think also like it's so. I think you're right. I think you can relate to it. I think it's also just people don't see like when you get into a marriage. I think people just kind of jump into some of these things. They're like, "Oh, well, I love them,"
Yeah.
and they I mean, it's like, okay, but do you been through some of the harder things? And it's like, if you've been through some of the harder things, I think that really honestly you see somebody's true colors in the hardest situations. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely,
when
100%.
somebody's broken,
100%.
how do they handle it?
100%.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so that's kind of the thing. Is like I think you need to see that before you marry somebody.
100%.
Because then you get into these situations where people are they really weren't compatible.
Yeah.
You
need to
some
see
of them,
some- you need to
some
see
of them it's like,
someone
man,
at
they
their
really
worst.
loved the physical aspect of things, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I mean that's cool, but at the same time it's like, did you really have this genuine relationship with that person? And I think that's like in that movie they're kind of talking about it, and it's just very, I think it just it's real. It's a real movie.
You need to see someone at their worst. You need to like experience some
right.
You
When
need to
they've-
experience that person when they're going through something that rocks their world.
Yeah.
That you like
Yeah.
flip them upside down like they're like
They're
where
on
most
their knees.
where most people would be like, okay, I have nowhere else to go. I don't know
Right.
what I can't do anything anymore.
Right.
You know?
No, I mean I think when they're literally like on their knees and they have nowhere else to go, they don't know where to turn, they don't know what to say, don't know what to do, don't know who to turn to. I think you need to see people in those situations.
And for us, like,
it might be harder for some people because I think some people are given more than others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's more like some
course.
people just. Sorry, excuse me.
bless you.
Jeez.
Bless you. Get it out. Come on.
I think some people are given, like I said, given more, given, like, just everything's handed to them.
Right.
And so I think that seeing some people in that situation is going to be a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But I think that ultimately those people are not really searching for the realest people to begin with, but that's
Of
beside the
course
point.
not.
But
I mean, yeah, you definitely, and like, the most attractive thing is like either like for me, and I'm speaking from experience, like, the whole thing recently.
yeah.
Don't have to get too much into it, but like that was a time in my life where like everything is flipped upside down.
Right.
My whole worldview just got rocked.
Right.
And that's something where like number one for Alex, like, she got to see an experience where my whole like world just got flipped upside down.
Right.
And it was very, like, looking back on it now, probably one of the most attractive things is like how supportive
Right.
she was,
Right. Yeah.
from a support structure, like as her role. Like, obviously I'm not attracted to you when you were supportive of it. When you were
I
supporting
mean, you
me.
were, but no, I'm kidding.
I mean, I was, but like off camera, you know what I mean? Like off the books, you know what I'm saying? But, it's whatever.
No, I get what you're saying. No, I mean,
It's very attractive.
it is. Well,
100%.
I think it's attractive.
Because, like, most people, they might be like, oh my God, like, this kid's on his own, like, he has to pay for
He's
himself
crazy,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, like, they might not be
Right.
like, oh, this kid,
Yeah.
They might
I don't
have the
think
wrong
that-
idea.
I think that would be, that could be something, and that could be something that would push them away for
Yeah.
sure. I think, in vice versa I think from her standpoint, I think that seeing the way that things are handled from you and then things like that, I think that might have pulled her into, I think it works on both sides.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, it's interesting. I think it works with friendships too. Whether
100%.
you're saying, I mean, probably
that's
not
when
the
you know
same-
who
it's
the
not
real ones are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's that song. It's a country song, and it says you find out who your friends are, who's gonna pick up everything, run out and jump in their car. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like that line is so true. Like, who's just gonna like run up and crank up their car? Sorry, and it's just like, who's gonna literally? I mean, who do you know that you could
Yeah.
text at 3 a.m?
Yeah.
Yo, my I'm stuck on the road. Don't ask why I'm out at 3 a.m, but my tire just blew out. Like, I need help. You know
I'm
what I mean?
gone.
Like,
Yeah. I'm on my way.
That's the kind of thing that's like, who do you know what I mean? Who do you have for that? And I think that's you definitely have situations in life where those things are, I mean, people will present themselves in those situations, and that's those people that do. And not to knock the people that don't. You know what I mean? They might just not know you as good. Yeah. They would be willing to help. They're just not that close of a friend.
But it's not like, they're doing it maybe because they like expect something in return later down the line. Like,
Yeah.
You're just doing it because, like, this is like your family, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, for example, okay, late one night when, the entire background of what was going on.
Right.
And I'm texting you like, yo, this might be it.
Yeah.
And you were ready to leave that moment right
Yeah.
then and there. You were ready to go.
Yeah.
And obviously I didn't end up executing it that night.
Right.
It was later down the line, but even then,
Yeah.
even then.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, when everything went down with my dad and things like
Yep.
that, like there was a time I literally had like my youth pastor,
Yep.
shout out to him, but my youth pastor, who had been a longtime family friend of ours, and his dad or his grandpa literally started our church. His grandpa and my grandpa are great friends. My dad, his dad were good friends.
Yep.
Like our families have just kind of worked down the line, right? He literally like slept here the first night.
Yeah.
And then my good friend David, and then guys like that, just people that, and you, and then Josh and Zach both showed up at the job site, and it's just like you find out who the people are that, like I said, are just gonna pick up everything and just, I mean, they're there. There's no question. There's no second guess. There's nothing. They're there. And then you have 200 people that show up at our house, and there's food being thrown around, and an ungodly amount of food. I don't think I've ever seen that much food. Well, I have. Never mind. But I mean, it's a lot. I mean, just random mints. I don't even know why we needed mints, but there were mints. There were things.
You wanted for nothing.
Kleenex. Toilet paper, cleaning supplies. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And so I think, but I do all of that to say, we've gone on that track, but all of that to say, I mean, that's a great movie.
No,
by the way.
yeah, it is. But you learn who your friends are when that stuff happens to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, shout out Kendall. She asked me and Alex a question last night, and it's pretty good. She actually said that we should ask it. Also, we have a lot of topic suggestions that we didn't get to last episode, so we're gonna get to those.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, actually, how about I ask you this question? We'll do the topic suggestions, and then we'll come back to it. Okay.
Ask question now. Okay.
I'm gonna ask you the question.
Yes.
Keep it to yourself, though.
Right.
And then right now you can add it in the comments if you have something that you want to say. That's fine. Okay. What would you tell yourself freshman year of high school? No, knowing what you know now.
Wow.
What would you tell if you had to say your little freshman kid one thing?
So many things.
Yeah.
I'll get to
Let's
that.
get to the frick. The topic suggestions are on my phone and we're recording on my phone. It's okay. I remember some of them.
Wait,
okay?
never mind. I was going to say, is there a way that I could?
I mean, I can sign in, but it's whatever. So I remember Duncan. Shout out Duncan Clayton. He asked when he's going to have a physicist on, and he's talking about himself because I know him.
Right.
Duncan, come on the show.
I don't know how we're gonna work that.
We'll figure it out.
Skype that.
We'll
Skype him in. Skype him in.
Duncan, DM me personally, like DM the show or me. We'll figure it out. We'll just talk to me. All right, we'll figure it out.
Zoom.
We'll Zoom you in. Yeah, I'll admin a Zoom.
Get a Zoom classroom in here.
Another one was, do I think I don't know who asked it. Oh, we got to talk about the D-Hop trade. Obviously, Tom Brady. Again, we got to talk about the AAF. I think somebody asked about the AAF.
AAF.
Yeah, you remember the
league way back when?
Last year. It was last year.
Wait. Oh, is that a football?
There was a football league that didn't even finish its season last year called the AAF.
What about the XFL?
XFL's on now. The AAF
they didn't finish
was a
theirs
league
either
last season. No, I know, but they like last year, like they ran out of funding.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was
about the AAF.
We had a team here. The San Antonio Commanders.
Yes, no, I do remember now. Sorry.
Yeah. So they just, they ran out of money, and so they closed up. So the question is, will they return? Maybe.
Probably not.
The XFL had a break. They returned. Maybe.
I mean, I think the XFL Instagram page has literally carried them, though. You know what I mean? I think they've done a much better job of advertising.
100%.
Like, I literally just had trouble remembering the AAF. Mm-hmm. Isn't that a... Didn't they have that way back when, like in the 80s and 90s and stuff? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Like they had two leagues. I know that. They had the NFL, and then there were a couple dudes. There was one guy.
There's the AFL.
AFL. That was probably it. Because there was that. Who was
American
it?
Football League.
Who was the guy that played? He was literally on the sideline of an XFL game because I think he was trying to blank on his name. Is it? No, it wasn't Troy Aikman. I don't think it was Troy Aikman. It was somebody else.
John Elway?
Not John Elway. No, it's fine. I don't know. But
anyway.
It was a quarterback that ended up, I think, coming back to the NFL, but he played in the AFL for a little while. And the AFL was essentially just, playing in the spring rather than the fall.
Right.
But because people wanted year-long football.
Of course, and they still do. If the XFL is successful, I'll say no. If it's not, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think
why not?
I think if the XFL is successful, San Antonio just hops on that train.
There's no more room. It's saturated because when else do you play?
Right.
XFL has now
the summer.
Play the summer, yeah, summer ball. You have football nonstop.
Insane.
It'd be great. I'm not gonna say I'm not.
I'm gonna be honest.
But the summer's
just have a bunch of dudes
the
dying
summer's short
from
though.
Dudes dying from heat stroke because they're playing in 4 million.
You've seen the NFL's moving to a 17-week schedule now?
Yeah, I saw that.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to compete. They're trying to speed up the process, man. They're going to switch up the kickoff here pretty soon.
17 week. What is it? Was it at 16? Right.
It was at 16 regular season.
So they threw it up to 17.
At 17. They didn't change the preseason. It's still
but they made it a
preseason.
longer. But they made it a longer playoff situation, right?
Yes, they added another 2 or 3 teams to the playoffs. So it's going to be a long
season. It's going to be crazy.
They are trying to saturate the market, man.
Dude,
and
I think they're trying to. Do you think they're kind of trying to eliminate the need for places like the XFL and stuff?
Now it is a competition. Whether the XFL likes it or not, they are competing with one of the biggest probably the biggest sports organization in the universe. And when you rattle that cage, they're gonna obviously push
they're
back.
Gonna fight back, yeah.
We're gonna add a whole nother week. We're gonna add more playoff teams. We're not gonna lower the preseason games.
But I think that
we're gonna make the kickoffs just as fast as y'all's.
Yeah.
Come on,
dude. The XFL though it's an interesting league.
We
watched that one game. We watched that one game. Lord have mercy. I felt bad for the dudes.
Kids are hitting
on the team. Some of them though were like, I felt like I was watching low-key like a college or like a Pop Warner football. It did not look.
There we go.
Did not look. Of them. It was kind of.
That was the problem. That was the problem with the AAF because all the quarterbacks were throwing like 3 picks a game. That were all terrible.
Bad.
There was not a good quarterback amongst any of them. No team had a good quarterback. So nobody had a hero.
Taylor used to get so mad at me when I'd play quarterback if I threw an interception, and I would straight up throw. Like if we were keeping stats, I'd probably throw like 10 touchdowns, throw 1 interception. Taylor's over here, and he like drops 6 passes. Meanwhile, I'm
probably can hear you. You better be careful what you say.
Dude, I'll go
kid
fight
will mess
Taylor.
you up.
I'll go fight Taylor
that kid
right
will
now.
mess you up.
Are you
dog.
kidding? I'll beat Taylor down.
That kid will mess you up. Dog.
I'm gonna go kill him.
He'll throw you.
I'm not gonna kill him.
Throw you around.
He'll throw.
Yeah, he'll throw you around, dog. Don't
For the record,
yeah.
Taylor weighs 135.
Yeah.
Just a second, we has water.
Yeah, go ahead. So yeah, like I said, I think my final take on it is, and thank you for the topic suggestion. I forget who suggested it. I'll have to look. I'll give you a shout out somewhere on my story. But if the XFL survives in the next 10 years, then probably not. There's no more room in the market because the NFL is not going to stop fighting this fight. If the XFL fails, why not, man? If they can get the funding, why not them? Because the XFL's got to have a buffer period where they need to reload their cash.
Yeah.
The AAF right now, if they're still trying, is basically crowdfunding now.
Right.
They're trying to get back their cash.
Right.
They're waiting for the XFL to move, to fail, because as soon as they fail, they're slipping right in that time slot.
Sliding right in there, yeah.
Next sort of topic suggestion is the whole D-Hop thing.
Dude.
What are you doing? What is going on in Houston? We're drinking crackhead juice, apparently, because we're trading D-Hop for broken wrist freaking David Johnson and a 4th-round pick. What kind of... Oh, this is Nico Forlini. This is my old roommate's topic suggestion. Shout out, Nico. Nico, come on the show.
D-Hop...
For broken wrist, David Johnson... First of all, David Johnson had like 1 good year, broke his wrist, left, came back, and is not the same. Not even close to the... He was the number 1 rusher 3-4 years ago. Now he's nowhere close.
I remember I saw...
For DeAndre Hopkins, probably
this on Instagram.
arguably the best receiver...
Yes,
me and Nico always had this argument.
Him and Julio.
I would say Julio, he would say D-Hop. And it is very close. I think, well, it's hard to say because Julio has a terrible quarterback compared to Deshaun Watson.
Right.
But D-Hop, you can't trade him for freaking... What are we doing? For a 4th-round pick?
It is literally D-Hop, and it's just... I can't... I don't even... I saw this on Instagram... And I was, you know what I mean? Like there are several like, you'll be going through like sport, like just your feed and see a bunch of Sports Center stuff around this time where it's just like traded, and you're like, holy cow, and it's just all these, it's a bunch of linemen and whatever, and so I'm like, holy cow, I'm just kind of scrolling through, and then I see him, and I'm like, what in the world?
D-Hop's gonna be a
What
Cardinal.
What is going on?
Also,
why would you do that?
How do you really feel?
Dumb.
How do you really feel about TB12 going to the Bucks?
Look, man, here's how I feel about it. I wish he had stayed. I wish that they had worked
he
out
did
some
too.
sort of deal. I read something on ESPN, like on the app. It sent me a thing, or a notification. I
course,
read
we all
some
get
of
'em,
it,
yeah.
and it was this thing about like kind of the past few years and how it seems like he was just kind of ready to go. It looks like
Mm-hmm.
the last interview that he had, it almost seemed like he was just kind of done with it. Like it was. So I don't know. Maybe the organization. Maybe he finally was just kind of done with the Patriots. I don't know. But what I will say is. Okay, look, I'm still a Patriots fan. I'm not switching just because Tom Brady's leaving. Like ultimately, I'm also kind of a Detroit fan, but I don't even want to talk about Detroit ever because they're disgraceful in this league. Anyways, they're the definition of mediocrity.
Hey man, you got Jamal Agnew. That's all you got.
Hey bro, I'm telling you what, Matthew Stafford is not a bad quarterback.
No, he's really not.
But
he's really not.
He's had a very poor. It's literally okay. That I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but that whole organization for years has been the same way. They cannot build. They have one star typically, or like one good, it's like they have Barry Sanders, right?
Yeah.
Nobody else is good.
They had Calvin Johnson.
Can't go anywhere.
Calvin
Johnson.
That's it.
Can't go anywhere.
Megatron.
You know what I mean? They forced two of the greatest to ever do it to freaking quit at 30. Could you imagine if Barry hadn't retired at 30?
I don't know.
I'm telling you,
Be a
you give him
different game.
3 more years, it's a different situation. Anyways, so what I'm saying is,
He's not taking the Detroit to the Super Bowl.
I'm not saying he's going to the Super Bowl.
I thought
I'm
that's
saying
what you were
it's a
saying.
different situation, as in the debate that people have.
Yeah, okay.
He would have completely eliminated Emmitt Smith as even being a runner with him.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, he would have.
No, he wouldn't.
Yes, he would have.
Smith is always going to be in that conversation.
Emmitt Smith. No, I'm
He's
saying
always gonna be in that conversation.
Anyways, so I was talking about Tom. I'm not gonna switch just because Tom's leaving.
You can't. No.
But what I will say is it's crumbling around me as we speak. I don't know how the Patriots are going to do next year, but what I will say is I think when he goes to Tampa Bay, I think like we talked about earlier, offensively, he's got a cast. I think he can do it.
Yeah.
I think
Good receiver
I
core.
watched. I remember I watched. It was a few years back. It was when they started kind of doubting
Evans
Tom
and Godwin, baby.
and saying he should be. Is Tom done? Is he leaving? Is this his last year? All this stuff. And then I remember I watched a Monday Night Football with my dad, and we're sitting there watching, and this guy. One of the announcers says, Tom Brady, you could pick 5 guys off the street right now, and this man could turn them into like a star cast because it's like he literally builds them. I mean, you think about Edelman. He had Gronk, right? But last year his receiving core just fell around him, and still, I mean, they still made the playoffs. Stuff like that.
but
I think
their
you think
defense
about
carried him a long
Edelman,
way.
which is true. I think Edelman. He created Edelman. He created Wes Welker. He created
Hogan.
Amendola.
Chris Hogan.
He created Chris Hogan.
Yeah.
All these guys, when they go somewhere else, do they have a name? Not really. I mean, you think about Wes Welker. When he left the Patriots, he didn't have a name.
I will say Edelman's doing really good.
Edelman's doing good. But that's with Tom Brady. You haven't seen him without Tom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So what I'm saying is Tom Brady has created these, and it's funny. Everybody jokes about the whole do they just recruit 5'9" white guys? Anyways, but I think Tom, when he goes, I think ultimately I think he can do well. I think if he makes it if he takes them even further than into the playoffs than they've been before, I think that the debate that people have been having over whether he's the GOAT or not is just kind of gone. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
if he goes, and this is a big if. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if he did go to the Super Bowl and they did win it again, I think, in my own personal opinion, it's the GOAT. It's done. Stamp it. Close the book. He's the GOAT.
I think it was already.
I think it's been
set in
established.
stone
but I'm saying
since the Falcons.
Yeah, I think I think it has too. But I'm saying if he did that, I think literally any other hater, if they say that he's not, they are a complete and total moron. Do you know what I'm saying? I think you're just stupid because you can't argue.
Yeah,
that's a statistic that you can't argue.
The Bucks are gonna win 9 games tops, maybe 8.
No, I'm just saying I'm saying if that happened, I personally would probably
They're gonna go
cry.
8-9.
I would cry. I'd be in here in this room crying.
I will say the one thing that does make me cry about Tom Brady, other than the fact that he kisses his kids.
Yeah, he kisses his
and he
kids.
makes
I
out
get
with
it.
those
Haha.
kids.
Okay, go ahead.
There was that. It was a dad and his kid asking Tom Brady a question. Here's how this thing goes. I saw this today, and I watched it twice, cried both times. So this kid is on his dad's shoulders, and his dad's like, "Hey Tom, my son has a really great question for you." And he's like, "Okay." Got really cool to this kid, right?
Yeah.
Kid's talking to the freaking goat, and he's like, "Tom Brady, many people consider you a hero. Who would you say your hero is?" And Tom Brady's like, "Wow, great question. My hero has got to be my dad."
Just
And he
tears.
starts to like elaborate. He almost starts to
can't.
talk, and he's like, "Gotta be my dad, because I've always looked up. He's someone that I look up to every day.
And he can't. It's crazy.
It's my dad." And I was like, "Whoa!"
No, it's crazy. That's a.
Woo!
I saw that video when it happened because that was. I think that
man.
I think that was the Falcons Super Bowl.
It was media
And-
week. Yeah.
Yeah, and dude, I remember watching that. Tears. That is such a. Oh man, that's a great interview. But I think, all I'm saying is Tom Brady
Yeah.
going to Tampa Bay. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
It matches his initials. That's kind of cool. TB going to TB. You know what I'm saying? Anyways.
Yeah. Chris Godwin is wearing number 12 though. But I say that to say this. The same source that leaked D-Hop going to the Cardinals started a rumor that it's possible that Deshaun Watson's going to the Pats.
That would be insane.
Deshaun Watson's leaving right after D-Hop's leaving. Who do you have? Will Fuller and who's your quarterback? You're going to pick someone up in the draft? You're going to pick someone up in the draft?
We're going to put J.J. Watt in at quarterback.
Dude,
we'll try that.
Dude, I don't know.
Could you imagine Deshaun Watson at the Patriots? How fun! Like, it's just such a crazy shift.
It's such a shift.
I mean, he's
such a
great.
shift.
I mean, he's a good pocket passer. Like, he can stay in the pocket. But I mean, you've got the pocket passer. You have the general, the man who does not move from the pocket. And if he does move from the pocket, he scrambles out and literally sets his feet again and throws it.
He's run for 1,000 yards in 20 years, dog.
I'm saying he's not a good runner, right?
No, he's not.
But Deshaun Watson, who can run, who has more athleticism in that
Oh my
regard,
god, yeah.
that's a crazy. I mean, offensively, that's just a different.
You know, it's
look.
funny. Interesting stat. I think Winston last season threw just as
Wasn't it
many
30 and 30?
just as many interceptions as he did touchdowns.
It was like 30 and 30, which was stupid.
You know what's great about that though?
What?
Him and Tom Brady last season had the exact same to like the 100th QBR. The exact same QBR for the total season.
Jeez.
That's how much of just god awfulness the offense was for the past this season. Their defense was filthy.
Yeah, no,
It
I
was
mean,
gross.
dude, the McCourty twins as a combo is gnarly.
You got that, plus you got
Is
Steven
gnarly.
Gilmore?
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore is gross.
God.
Bro, literally, Devin McCourty, who's the first, he's number 32. He's the first one that was on the Patriots. Devin had, I think it was for the first 5 games, he had an interception every single game.
Yeah,
and then you
they were
had
killing people.
his brother, who's Jason, who's just ice cold as a corner. And then you've got Stephon Diggs, and you've just got this cast of, it's
Yeah, man.
gross.
Yeah, man. They're young and they're athletic and
Stephon.
They're-
He posted something about Brady leaving, and it was just like, bro, everybody did. Who didn't? If you're on that team and you didn't, you're an idiot.
yeah. Well,
Like,
yeah.
do you know who Chase Winovich is?
the fullback or the tight end?
It's the long. He's got the long blonde
What
hair.
position does he play?
He's a defensive end.
Defensive end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's funny. He's a
I
funny
saw
guy.
that one. I
He's a
saw
funny
that
guy.
one. Yeah.
He's also just
calling him a dad or whatever.
Yeah,
I saw that.
he's a funny guy. He's funny, and he was from Michigan too.
Yep.
And so that's kind of the connection that they have there.
got
But
that going
he was a
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
It's a weird time we're living in where Tom Brady's not going to play. When have we haven't even lived in a world where Tom Brady isn't playing for the Pats. We haven't seen that world. He's played for 20 years. We weren't watching football.
No. I mean, literally, he's been at the Pat, and that's what's so weird. And it's so painful to watch all this stuff because I've thought about, like, Tim Duncan and, like,
Oh, yeah.
Manu Ginobili and, like,
Tony.
and that whole – they're all gone.
Pop's still kicking, though.
Pop's still kicking.
Pop's still
But
freaking crushing it.
I'm telling you what, our Spurs –
Well, not anymore because, NBA's.
Rest in peace to the NBA, bro.
They said they're going to start up pretty soon, though.
Did they?
For, maybe
Well,
maybe
the
it was-
MLB said that they're they just had postponed their
opening
pushing.
weekend's coming up. But
I saw you watch, and I straight up thought I saw like a light, and I was like, "What is going on?" Anyways,
ghosties are out here, man. Well, I'm trying to think of another topic suggestion that we got in. Oh God, it's gonna bug me so much. I don't know. We'll keep them in. Keep giving us your topic suggestions. We'll keep. Well, look, I have them all screenshotted, so we'll keep them updated. We'll get to you, okay? We got a lot coming in, which is great. I just can't remember all of them off the top of my head. There's like probably 9 or 10 that we have. Keep them in. We'll hit them. We want you to be involved in this. Also, go become a patron at patreon.com/throneroom. There's 3 tiers on Throne Room. Yeah, there's 3 tiers on there for you. They're great tiers. They're the best tiers. Some of the best. We hear that they're the best tiers. Many people are saying that they're the best tiers.
The best tiers.
And they're huge tiers.
Huge.
So go check that out. Go like us on Instagram and Twitter. That's probably the easiest way you can hit us up with your topic suggestions. Go like and share all the crap. You know what to do. Go subscribe if you're not subscribed. By the way,
if you're not a patron, you're just not. You're not paying. You're
not even a human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not even.
I literally don't get to pay my water bill.
Yeah, this whole show is paying for his water bill, his water bill.
Just my water bill.
Yeah. So go become a patron.
Please.
It's patreon.com/throneroom.
Throne.
Yeah, Throne Room. Okay, do you have an answer for the question I asked you earlier?
Dude, yeah.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Okay, so
the question again is, what would you tell yourself freshman year of high school? Now.
So.
But first of all, wouldn't that be awesome? Like, would you want to like have a conversation with your freshman year kid?
Yes.
100% would.
100%.
Now, let me ask you this. Would you want to have a conversation with yourself 10 years in the future?
Man, I don't know. That's scarier.
I know.
That's one of those things where I'm like...
What if you did it and, like, just a crackhead walked in and just...
Yeah, I'd throw up. I don't know if I want to do the future one. The future one's scary. I think that's not one that I'm... I think going back... I think sharing wisdom is better than, like, gaining, like, wisdom that maybe I didn't really want. Anyways, I think... Really, I think if I went back to myself and I kind of just, I think it's better as a conversation. I think that's kind of cool. Like if we sat down at the table, you know what I mean? And we're just kind of like looking at each other. Like I walk into my house. Dude, I just thought that's crazy. I just thought about my house, like thinking about like the different kind of stuff that would be in here my freshman year. You know what I mean? Like some of the stuff that wouldn't, like this table wouldn't, anyways.
Wouldn't be here. It'd be the old table.
Yeah. So I was thinking, man, I don't know. Walk in, he looks at me like, I look at myself like, what's going on? I think, probably disappointed. Anyways, I think I would just say like, man, I think I would tell myself to keep fighting. I don't know if I would share some of the things that had happened.
Yeah.
You know
I was just about to ask you.
I don't know if I would share it. I think it's just like, I think it's one of those things where it's like, then I would be dreading, you know what I mean? And then it would just be a constant fight.
You would grieve before it even happened.
Exactly. It'd be a constant fight of me trying to stop something that's not going to be stopped. Mm-hmm. And if I do stop it, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like that's a whole anyways, I think ultimately what I would just walk in and just kind of say is like, just tell myself to like not like doubt the process that God has me on, and then also just just don't quit being who I am. You know what I mean? Like don't, and that's not. I mean that's obviously I didn't quit being who I was, but what I'm saying is like to encourage myself to keep up what I was doing and maybe not listen to people as much as I did. You know what I mean? Maybe not take advice that wasn't really, that's not good advice. You know what I mean? Kind of like, there's just some things that you hear in high school and then you kind of, you go with the flow or whatever. But I think ultimately I would tell myself, like, you're better than what you think you are. You know what I mean? Like, because freshman year me, like, as much as, like, I was more confident, like, middle school me, dude, holy crap. If I could go back to sixth grade, there's a whole different conversation being had. But if I go back to freshman year, I'm coming out of some of that. I'm not as awkward. I'm not as scared to, like, even be. Like, sometimes, I'm such an extrovert. But sometimes going into rooms was so scary for me because, like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what people were going to say, what they were going to think. Like, it was just it's a hard time. It was like, I just felt like nobody, like at times it felt like nobody in the room was on my side. And so, you know what I mean?
Well, we've talked about it too. It was cool for me getting to like to see that transition, because like when we were freshmen, our seniors were like, I mean, paramount. And like getting you out of your freaking bubble, and like getting you to where you are now, paramount.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
without those,
I'm telling
those
you,
freaking
without
guys,
without those dudes, I don't think I'm at where I am now. I think it's different.
It was cool.
I think it's a different guy that you see.
100%.
Part of it is they gave me this confidence that I didn't have. They gave me this feeling of like, dang. I mean, like, sure, I'm not perfect. I mean, nobody is, but these guys have ensured me that I am, like, I'm a good guy. You know what I mean? At my core, like, I try to be somebody that people can turn to, that people can trust. You know what I mean? Like, I try to be, you know, and I think that they kind of showed me.
You're super humble
just
too,
keep
huh?
Being, huh?
You're super humble too.
I try to be, but I'm trying to be. I try to be this person that they saw me for who I was, which is something that people weren't doing up to that point, like in middle school especially.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
And people weren't seeing me
Not
as
at
like
all.
somebody that they could trust or rely on. People saw me as like, I don't know, it was just weird. It was like middle school is so much more about, I think, like a physical appearance too.
That stuff wasn't important
And so
to
it's
a 12-year-old kid.
No. And so I think I would just tell myself, like, continue to try to be the best that you can, because I mean that's ultimately what we can do, and also just maybe give myself some more encouragement on like chasing after God in a different light and things like that. But I think really also telling myself that, like, yeah, I mean, I'm a goofy dude, right? Like, I'm a goofy looking guy, especially at that time, but like, just because you're goofy looking doesn't mean everybody thinks that. You know what I mean? Just because you think that especially doesn't mean everybody, because there are some people that like my sophomore year, like, apparently I had some things going for me and I didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, you know, different situations. I think that ultimately, like, I just would kind of tell myself, like, to continue to be strong. Does that make sense?
No,
because
no,
I was so like broken coming out of middle school, and to tell myself, look, man, like, you're not the greatest when you're a senior in high school, like, you're not the greatest like football player ever, but like that 8th grade situation that you had does not reflect how you are your senior year. Because I was so broken my freshman year, like when I was playing football, I just, there were so many times where like I could have done better, but I was so afraid to like be yelled at or to be told, you know, oh, you're doing it wrong or whatever, that it reflected how I played. You know what I mean? And it kind of broke it up. My senior year, I just played. You know what I mean? I just went for it. And it was like, yeah, I wasn't the greatest. Yeah, I didn't play the best all the time. But I gave it everything I had, every single snap, and it showed. It was different. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's a weird
I would
question.
If I were to talk to myself freshman year of high school, Mine, like, the theme of what I would say is, like, almost completely backwards of what you would tell yourself.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming out of middle school, like, thinking I am, like, just the stud of the world.
Right.
You know? Of course, I came from a public school that had a lot of kids, and, you know, everyone, like, knew who I was.
Yeah.
You know? And I had a lot of friends, and I was very popular, and I was, like, in with the cool kid, you know, the clique, right?
Yeah.
That was my middle school, right? And, you know, I had a lot of girls that were into me.
Yeah.
And so I thought that I was set for life. I never, you know, I was just this God kid.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was always naturally good at everything.
Yeah.
You know, I never, you know, I had an excellent work ethic because, you know, I would never stop doing yard work on the weekends. Lord. God.
A lot of that.
Yeah, Jesus. But, you know, so I had a work ethic, but most things that, you know, most people, like being an athlete, you know, being smart, like academically, those things I didn't really have to try at.
Yeah.
Because I was just naturally good at, and I took it for granted.
Yeah.
So you're coming from it, like, from a place like, hey, as a place from encouragement, I would come like, hey, you're not anything, dude.
Yeah, break yourself down.
Yeah, I would literally be like, hey, dude, you are nothing.
Yeah.
I would literally tell myself, like, dude, you have no idea the potential you can be.
Yeah.
And like knowing what I know now about myself, like I would for sure make it a point to tell myself, like, hey, follow your gut, take very good notes of the red flags in
Right.
certain situations.
But don't-
certain toxic people, take very good notes of who those people are.
Right, but you need to like change some
Yeah,
other
but
things.
you need to figure out,
Yeah.
like, first and foremost, like, you are nothing, dude.
Yeah.
You aren't this dude.
Hot
You're not
shot.
him.
Yeah.
You are not him.
Yeah.
And that's not who you are at your core. You may
Yeah.
think that because all these people are looking at you like that.
Yeah.
But you are not that.
No,
You are not that.
See, and I think that's something you say that, and I mean, I didn't really know you all that good like freshman year. I mean, like we were friends.
Yeah.
We played football together and stuff like that. But I mean, we didn't really become friends truly. I mean, more so until like sophomore
Yeah,
year.
sophomore year.
Yeah. the rodeo.
Can we tell that on the show?
What? Which one? The part. I mean, where we had to leave.
Or not the rodeo
Oh,
night. The
No.
Well, I'll tell you what, because the rodeo
No.
night was when
We had to
Here's
leave.
the thing. Let me tell this story.
Okay.
Okay, so freshman year of high school. Remember, imagine what I just told everyone what I would tell my freshman year self. I wasn't hanging around the greatest group of kids. I was in a bad clique, right?
Yeah.
And again, it was getting me the girls. It was getting me like all this notoriety, all this popularity, like
Yeah.
all this like stuff that when you're a freshman in
Meanwhile,
high school, like,
I'm
you
hanging out
want
with
it.
the goofy guys.
Yeah. So I realized that, and through some stuff that I'm glad that happened to me. Obviously, like I kind of got exposed in a way that I'm so thankful that I got exposed in
Right.
in that way.
There's certain situations where it's like, man, am I glad it's
I'm
finally
so
out.
glad.
You know what I mean?
Yo, I got reamed. I got in so much trouble, but I'm so thankful that it happened.
Yeah.
Because from that moment on, I realized what was important.
Right.
I realized that. And shout out to Mr. Carnivus, because he was one of those dudes that made me realize, like, being smart is a really fun thing.
Yeah.
If you have a passion for something academically, love that.
Yeah.
Like, and so, I got exposed, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I don't want to be this guy anymore where I value things that don't, they don't give me any value,
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because people say I'm like an attractive kid that's very athletic and very smart, like, okay, whatever. I want to prove myself that I can, like, I want to do that myself and not
Right.
have people tell me that or
Yeah.
have people like make me feel like that,
Right.
And so I stopped hanging out with that group of kids, and that's when I invited you to the rodeo.
Yeah.
Because I knew you were a great kid, and
Yeah.
I knew that we used to be friends in middle school, but I kind of
Yeah.
stepped away from that a little bit because I thought I was this dude.
Yeah. Which
and-
I didn't even have a problem with. I remember, I think I was one of the first people you met.
Oh yeah,
Because I remember you came in.
in Miss Catalina's class, I think, right? Or was that DeFreeze?
we were in.
I don't know, I forget.
We were in Urbal's together.
Urbal's class, yeah.
Mhm. The
Seventh grade
goat,
Bible
by the
class.
way.
Great for
Anyways,
the teacher, yeah.
love that guy.
So yeah,
But
so
anyways,
I started hanging out. So I knew I needed to get in your group.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I need somebody that I can always count on that is also just as goofy as I am.
Yeah.
That
facts.
isn't gonna like look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But kind of like a foil in the sense like you can kind of balance my insecurities
Right.
about myself.
Yeah.
Because when I got exposed, I realized that oh my god, I'm not this kid.
Yeah.
I have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And it's good if you want to try to fix those. It's a
Right.
good thing.
Yeah.
And, of course, like I said, Mr. Carnivus, I realized that, like, math, we were in geometry, and I was crushing math, and I wasn't even trying.
Yeah.
I was crushing geometry, and I didn't even care about it,
Hated geometry.
It was,
I hate
it was
math,
so,
bro.
it was so easy
Hate
to
math.
me. And, math and science, I took physics, and it was like, and Mr. Boyd, like nobody liked him as a teacher. I thought he was a good teacher to me.
Yeah.
I was crushing physics. I think
Yeah.
I got like a 98 or 99 in physics.
I was awful, but it's
Got a
okay.
98 or 99 in
remember
like geometry.
He passed out a test, and that was the famous line, "When it clicks, it clicks."
When it clicks, it clicks.
And I
yeah.
remember I crushed that test.
Yeah.
Straight got like a 94, and
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
sitting there. I was like,
When it
"Yo,
clicks, it
everybody else is
clicks."
mad, but
Yeah.
it clicked for me.
Yeah,
I don't
you know
know
what
what's
I'm
going on."
So I fell in love with physics that year. I fell in love with math that year. I fell in love with logic that year.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, yo, this like knowledge stuff is cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I did enjoy logic.
Oh my God, it was
The
great.
ethics class.
Ethics
that
class
was
was
fun.
great.
fun.
And so I knew that like, okay, I want to pursue that part of life, and then I need to get a new group because
Yeah.
you're only as good as the people you surround yourself
Yeah.
by.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're 80 years old. If you're hanging around like 80-year-old heroin users, chances are
Yo, if there are 80-year-olds and heroin users,
ghosts,
you might want to
dude.
hang around them.
Yeah. Just they know something.
They found something
Yeah, they know
out that
something.
no other heroin user has.
Or if you're in like with an 80-year-old like ex-murderer that has like 3 women in his basement, you might not be the best you can be. I would want to be surrounded by an 80-year-old doctor that has like cured cancer or something.
Yeah, some dude that's just chilling.
So
at home
so
now.
I invite
Yeah.
this kid to the rodeo.
Lord of
And we go with like
good
my
stuff. That's
cousin,
fun.
my little cousins,
Good
and
stuff.
and like my family, whatever. So we go and like
Dude,
they're obviously
I
tiny,
felt so bad because I offered
they're
one of your cousins peanuts, and I didn't know they had a peanut allergy.
mad allergic to peanuts.
Felt so bad.
So
I didn't know-
allergic.
I didn't know. Okay, because I'm
So
I'm eating
allergic.
peanuts. I think your dad just handed them to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'll eat
Yeah,
some.
he's just
and
crushing
I'm sitting
peanuts.
there and I'm eating peanuts and I
Mhm.
offered some. Felt so bad because then this kid stares at me like I'm a Satanist and I'm like, look, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
kill you. Just
Yeah.
didn't know.
Well,
Then I just kind of.
So there was that. There was that. That was like the first time that you like slept over the whole thing, like the time where we spent the most time together. Wait, did we go to church? Was that with the
went to-
time?
that was the
okay,
church
okay.
time.
I thought that
was
was
the
another
church
church.
time.
So
No,
we
no,
get up in the next morning. We go to church, right? After church,
So tired.
We're
So
waiting.
tired.
We
almost.
stayed
I
up.
swear, I think I fell asleep during church. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it
Actually,
was-
I think I didn't. I
was a
fought
wild
so
time.
hard.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
We.
I think it was mostly because Max Lucado was there. It was like the only time that he was there, like
Dude's-
ever, and I have
dude's
no
a
idea how I
genius.
ran
Dude's a
into that.
genius, yeah.
That was crazy.
So, well, he's the pastor of Oak Hills.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I've heard that he's like hardly ever there. Like he's
Well,
he
yeah.
kind of he's
Back-
almost like
back-
a guest speaker. He just kind of like
Back
sneaks in.
then he was there more regularly. Now he's like retired, like
Okay,
full time.
yeah.
But no, like the church. We were waiting on like something my parents had to do. Like they left us like outside somewhere, and like it was at that moment I realized that
Yeah.
me and this kid aren't that different.
Yeah.
Like we are so different on every like level.
Yeah,
But like the way we think,
yeah. Pretty
we're
similar.
basically the same
Yeah,
kid, you
yeah,
know?
exactly.
And if we just like the way we think about like jokes and like our humor is so
The
similar. So
flow-
I was
the
like, you
flow
know
of
what?
humor-
This whole like transition in my life isn't that bad. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so
Every
that
time
was
the
when
people-
that was when it clicked for me, man.
Dude, every
So.
time the people are around us, they just stare at us.
Came
like,
up to C-Stat that
Ooh, yes.
like
And Kendall gets in the car.
within 15 minutes, people are so annoyed with us.
in the car, Kendall is staring at us like, what is going on? Because we're just like,
We're children.
at a certain point,
We're children.
there's no English being
No,
spoken.
we're in the car
There's
screaming
just,
at cars down the highway. Just
there's just random like not even words. It's just straight up noises that
man.
are. But we know exactly what we're saying, and she's just
Yeah.
staring at us like, what are you saying? And we're just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
there's a lot.
dumb.
There's
Just
so
pointing
many.
at stuff, and we know exactly what we.
Oh
mean.
yeah, we have so many inside jokes, but there's like also layers of relatability though, because like there's like humor, plus there's like the whole like
Experience
parent.
and
There's a
things,
whole
yeah.
there's a whole like the whole like death of a parent thing,
Yeah.
and there's that where it's like not many people can say that they've experienced that, and
Right,
I
right.
when people say like, "Hey man, I know what you're going through. I feel that." There's always something in the back of my mind that's like, "Yeah, but you don't."
See, that's why.
But I don't ever say that because it's like
No.
I'm so thankful for people that would even say that.
Right.
You know?
See, my approach to it has always been to look at someone and say, because like if you've never experienced it, like you haven't lost a parent or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the right approach. I think
No.
the approach. I literally got something.
Again, I would never say that to somebody.
No. I got something from my cousin, and he said, "I have no idea what you're going through."
Yeah.
I thought this was better. Just be honest.
Yeah.
No idea what you're going through. I have no idea the loss you're feeling. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
but I'm here and praying for you.
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
is literally the thing where it's like, okay,
That's it.
I liked that.
That's it.
But if you have experienced something similar, if you have lost a parent, if you've lost a grandparent that was so close, an aunt, an uncle, a best friend, you lost maybe a dog that was just literally like one of the only like the best thing in your life. I get it. Like those are dogs, crazy loss.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Crazy loss.
It's family. You know?
It's
family.
I mean, it literally like breaks you to your core. But what I will say is, even myself having experienced it, I will often say, no idea what you're personally going through.
Yeah.
I know what tremendous loss and pain feels like. So I'm here and praying for you.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
I'm here
there's
to
so
talk
many
to you.
variables.
But I don't know what your personal loss feels
Yeah.
like. You know, like if
can't.
somebody, you know, their dad dies or their mom dies or something, and they're not that close to them. I mean, it might
That's
not
different.
be a
That's
crazy
different.
loss.
Yeah.
But if they're close, you know, like I was, big loss. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like if a grandparent dies, and I mean, hardly knew him. The dude didn't come around. Okay,
Yeah.
well, nah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grandparent dies, and it was a big, like maybe even kind of almost like a caretaker to you. They were your guardian essentially.
Yeah, that's
Big
that's the
loss.
tricky thing, because like, if somebody's mom or dad died, right, and like, maybe there was like something going on where there's sort of a falling out maybe,
Right.
and you never get to sort of resolve that. You never
Yeah.
get to make peace with it, and they die before you get to do that. That's a whole nother like level of grief.
I think,
I
think that
and
that
that's
it brings
something
in
that
so
that
much
we can't level with.
So yeah,
Like we can level because both of our parents were like, very respected members of the community.
Right.
People that people knew them, people like loved them and respect.
Right.
Nobody had beef with them, you know, and if they did, it was nothing compared to like just who they were.
right.
And so that's where like it's sort of very relatable. But again, when people have like something like that where it's like, they were abusive or something and we never resolved that, or like,
That's
he
just
said
a crazy level.
That's a whole nother thing where it's like I can't even understand what you would begin to feel like.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
didn't have that. No.
I wasn't abused. I wasn't.
course not.
I mean, really, I mean, literally, like one of the things that I've talked about with like some of my friends, because some people that I know, they have a harder time saying like "I love you," to people that aren't like necessarily family. They have a hard time saying it just kind of in general. That's a term for me that it carries a lot of weight. It really does. But having said that, I say it more than I think some of the people that I know. Like,
Yeah, me too.
Because my situation, like, we went to bed every single time. I mean, it was "I love you." We had a competition of saying it's "I love you mostest in the whole wide world ever." Let's not talk about it. Like we tried to see, because we're competitive too, so we got to throw some competition in there. But
Absolutely. Come on.
it was to see who could say it the fastest, but it could only be said after 7 p.m. Right? Anyways, because then you're ready for it.
Yeah.
The whole, yet again, very competitive. But the whole moral of the story here is like saying "I love you" was just different. It was more of a thing of like, literally my dad just didn't want us to ever question if we loved him or if he loved us or not.
Yeah.
And it's same with my mom, or same with mom. She's
Yeah,
she's the same way. It's just how it is. But she grew up that way. He grew up in more of a family that it was a little bit more like, not that they didn't love each other. It was just a little bit more concerned.
Right.
It just wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
That they said a ton. It was expressed in different ways. And
Absolutely, yes. Some people just don't, and it's whatever.
Sometimes it's an expression. Sometimes it's so not. I'm not trying to hate on people that don't say it a lot. I'm
whatever.
saying I never had to question whether I was loved or not.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
by my
didn't either.
core family.
I didn't either.
I knew where I was at.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so for people that have those kind of losses, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's a whole
can't.
other ballgame.
But I remember actually Kendall lost an aunt of hers or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she even remembers. So if you're watching at this point,
Shout out
an hour and
Kendall
12
for the-
minutes,
for the third time.
13 minutes in or whatever. But if she had lost like an aunt or something that was very close to her, and I remember I saw her get up and leave, and she was crying. It was in chapel, and I kind of heard about it.
I remember that.
And so I got up, and I remember I walked out, and I sat with her for a minute, and I just told her if she needed anything, I was there, and I told her I was praying for her and stuff like that. And I said, look, I don't, I lost my dad last year. I don't know exactly what you're going through, but like, I know what loss is like. So if you need anything, I'm here.
Yeah.
I know we're not super close, but like really honestly. And so I got up and I walked away. And but I want people to know that like, if they really do ever need anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they've lost somebody like that, like I know what loss is like.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
of
saying? And
course.
I've told so many
Of
people that.
course.
It's like, I know what it's like. I'll talk to you about it.
But
But
it's possible to make it through too. That's another thing that you gotta
Dude.
make a point of. You know,
it's one of those things. I
life is still
literally made
always
myself
worth it.
bleed,
What's
dude.
going on?
I literally like scratched a scab, didn't realize it. And I'm
Oh yeah.
bleeding.
All right.
Anyways,
On a smaller note, I would also tell myself that because before I got exposed, right? Which, interestingly enough, when I got exposed, I realized how insecure I was that I didn't even realize. Like, I
Right.
didn't even know how insecure I
Yeah.
actually was. And I'm still kind of figuring out, like, how to deal with my insecurities
right,
in, like, healthy ways, obviously.
right,
But before that, I would have told myself, like, in addition to, like, I would just talking about football here, like,
Right.
dude, hit the weight room.
that's what I'm
Like
saying.
you still like at the time.
I would
at the
do that
time-
too.
Yeah, at the time, I mean, I was still like a strong kid, pound for pound.
Right.
You know, but I was like, I would be like, hey, man, listen, you
The weight room
don't
helps.
even know
Yeah.
what you're capable of.
Yeah.
If you just put the time and effort in.
I think
You know?
I think I would do something pretty similar. I think I would just tell myself like, use wrestling, because as
Oh,
much as I
yeah.
hated that sport, as
Dude,
much as I
the
hated it with
hands,
everything in my being,
Mm-hmm.
it really, if I had been more serious about losing weight and things like that, I think I could have been something very different. I think if I had
You did
started,
it more than just junior
if I had-
year. You hit it hard junior year.
if I had hit it hard my freshman year and kept it going all the way through until my senior year, I think I'm a different athlete entirely. You know what I mean? I think I look different. I play different. I'm a different position, possibly, things
Maybe.
like that.
Play
I think
DN.
I think it's different
Yeah. entirely.
But I'm not gonna. I mean, I can't change that, obviously.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, I would tell myself to do that. But
It was honestly crazy because, you know, junior year. Did you start junior year?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
you
started
you
because I
started
started
O-line though.
because I was on
Yeah, you
O-line.
were-
I didn't
okay,
play
that's
D.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You started O-line, and of course I was DN my junior year, and yeah, we
time.
had a nasty freaking defensive line though. It was filthy.
Gross. Well, we
Uh,
did our senior year too.
Yeah, we did. So, but I remember like you were, I mean, like when you were going nuts with your diet,
Yeah.
you got tiny, dog.
Small.
You got
Yeah.
small.
I think I was at the peak I was 203.
That's tiny, bro.
For me, yeah, that was
Yeah.
slim for me. And I
That's
got
very
back I got
slim.
down to 203
But
by
that's what
senior
I'm
year
s- That's
too.
what I'm saying. But football season, senior year,
A big boy.
within 3 months,
Big boy.
you were just a ball of just mass.
Yeah. Well, cuz okay, so I'm told by these coaches that I have to, and there's some it's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
they told me I had to put weight back on.
Yeah.
And my mom has said, "Well, no you didn't. You were fast." And no. I had to put weight back
gotta-
on. I
we
was
gotta-
203
yeah.
pounds. And I mean, yeah, I was probably the strongest I had been, stuff like that, but that's not going to help. I was playing dudes that were 6'1",
Yeah.
260 pounds, and even when I was at like 230, 235, I was getting shoved around. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
remember
No,
against
I know.
Regents,
I
that
mean-
dude just took me in some plays. I mean, that dude just drove me. And then, I mean, I stuck my heels in the ground and didn't let him move me a lot. But anyways, crazy. And moral of the story here, yeah, I was slim, and then I had to kind of bulk
it came out of nowhere,
But-
and I didn't even realize it because I mean I was getting
It's
big
just kind
too.
of the everyday,
Everyone's
yeah.
just kind of like, yeah, we see each other every day, so it's like we can't really
Yeah.
like
I remember Garrett.
night. Yeah.
Yeah, came up to me, and he hadn't. I mean, like we had seen each other. He hadn't really seen me a lot, I guess, since the football season had ended. And he's a senior, so he's about to go off. But he comes up and he gives me a hug, and he goes, "Austin, did you lose? You really have lost weight." And I was
Yeah,
like,
dude,
"Yeah, I
you
lost a little
lost
bit."
some
And he was like,
pounds.
"Holy cow!" He was like, "You're not even the same person."
No,
Nope. But
no, you weren't.
Because then
It was
I mean, because
wild.
Michael came back too.
Yeah.
Shout out that guy.
Shout out
This is
Michael
another-
Miller.
That was another dude that could
You know-
sweat. You talk about guys who can sweat.
I don't
bro.
think he beat Brandon though.
No, he didn't.
No.
but he can sweat.
Brandon can sweat. Love
but
you.
no,
Love you
dude,
to death,
we used to wrestle, like when we were. I mean,
Yeah.
when I wrestled freshman year,
Yeah,
we would
freshman
wrestle, and that dude It was nasty. We had to wrestle. My first
He was
practice.
Great. He was a great defensive end.
My first practice was against
That was Parker.
Michael Nethery.
Oh, it was Parker that was the DN, right?
The end, yeah.
And Michael played
was
tackle.
a tackle.
Yeah.
Parker was disgusting.
Parker
That man was
was
so
gross.
fast.
Yeah, he was
You couldn't. It was his hands too. The wrestling made his hands so fast. I remember he would wrap around that end and it was like, you have defensive ends that they have to go so far upfield. He beat the guy within the first 2 or 3 steps typically, and then he's upfield, and I mean you can't go outside on him. You know what I mean? And if you do, you have to bounce it in a way that then one of our linebackers is right. He was ice cold. I'm not gonna
He
lie.
was
Parker
good.
was disgusting.
Parker was good.
Great set of athletes. Those two guys. Telling you what, he was slim. I didn't even
way.
realize how tiny he was.
I mean, they're good, just great at their position. They're positionally great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, like I.
Michael ended up going and playing center. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Played center some at Ouachita.
Really?
Yeah. He put on. I mean, he put on
No
some
kidding.
weight. He put on some
He
weight.
did put on weight. I saw pictures of him.
He
got
kind of
pretty
had
thick.
to.
He got pretty
but
thick.
There was a point. I was talking to him and Ben, and Ben got up to like two. He was 6'1". He got up to like 260, 270. And then same thing. Michael was around 250, 260, I think at one point. But big dudes. Oh
my
man,
goodness.
big guys.
That's nuts, man. It was so fun. Football was great. I miss it a lot.
No, and back on that point. Sorry of the. What would you tell yourself? I think
Oh,
I
yeah.
would. I think I would also just kind of. What was I gonna say? Dang it. Never mind. I forgot. No, I forgot. I was gonna say something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I really think a lot of it. Oh, I would also kind of tell myself to be, because there were points where when those guys would give me, when those seniors would give me so much attention, and they were good to me. They really were. But those guys, I don't know, I'd get a big head about it. And so I think I would tell myself, because I did have to tell myself at those points, like, hey man, kind of calm down, like, because there were points where like I would walk up and like try to kind of like initiate the conversation with them, and it was just kind of one of those things where they're kind of looking at me like you're still a freshman, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I would have to kind of look at myself and go, okay, back up, because the way that I got in and the way that they liked me so much is I just put my head down and worked. You know what I mean? Like I didn't try to talk to them, didn't try to get into their groups. I just put my head down, I did my thing, and then it just kind of paid off.
Yeah.
So I think that I would tell myself, like, don't lose the like nice little Austin that they, you know what I mean? Like, towards the end, especially towards the end of my like senior year and stuff like that, like obviously I became more of like a confident guy, and there's nothing wrong with the confidence, but like still be humble about it. Don't be, and I don't think I just exude this like awful guy kind of, douchebaggery kind of thing, but
Nobody, no.
But I
You are kind of a prick sometimes, though.
well, I never.
I told you I was
denied
gonna. I
that.
told you I was gonna come home and surprise Manji. He goes. I asked him if he was gonna be here, and he goes, "No, we actually all contracted the coronavirus, so we decided to travel." And I was like, "No, you're such a freaking prick! Oh my god."
Well, I mean, it's the sarcasm.
It's
the sarcasm. You know what I mean? It also, that's what makes me too, is like I'm sarcastic. I mean, the way that that I'm typically comfortable with the person is like if I tease them a ton.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. Like if I'm not comfortable with you, I'm just gonna probably sit there and stare at you. Or like if I don't like you, it's probably just gonna be like no jokes or no. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how it is. It's just it might be kind of toxic, but
I'm the same way.
But I mean, also if I'm not comfortable with you, I'll try to like work my way into that. You know what I mean? And there are some people, especially at ACU, bro. I can't crack them. I can't break them. I swear they don't think anything's funny. Like I could tell 16 jokes, and they're all jokes from like straight up. I mean, the funniest dude in the world, like objectively, like everybody laughs. They wouldn't laugh. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you. It's just a very It's weird.
That is so strange to me. I can't imagine. I couldn't survive, dude. I couldn't.
It's weird. They're just people that they'll just stare at you, and you're like.
I mean, I say that I couldn't do it. I could do it. I would just not talk to anybody and just get my crap done.
Yeah.
It's not like I really talk to that many people anyway. I really don't. No, I really don't. I really don't talk to very many people. I talk to Josh Alex, obviously.
Starts putting on like black eye makeup.
No, I really
Just
don't
kidding.
talk to that many people. I talk to like maybe 4 people tops. Josh, Alex, maybe Kendall
Yeah.
sometimes, Cameron, Alyssa.
Also, if you've
That's it.
made it this far in the podcast, go ahead and comment.
Give me the safe word. Give me the safe word. Come on.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter, that's the safe word.
Peanut
We'll
butter.
put you on the show. You ready to wrap this up or what?
I'm ready
Let's go
when
to
you're
frickin'
ready.
bed. You know what I mean?
It's
You know what I mean? We got a bonus episode we're going to record tomorrow.
40 in the morning. I mean, it's 1:36, but it's around
36.
1:40.
Heck, I'll round up.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta round up.
We're going to round up.
It's 5 and above.
Like
give it a shove.
like I said, go follow the show on Instagram and Twitter. Go become a patron at patreon.com/throne room. I got
Throne
it right
Room.
that time. Patreon.com/throne room.
Darn.
There you go. What else? Give us your topic suggestions on those. You know what I'm saying? Websites. And thank you so much
The
for
interwebs.
watching. Howdy later. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Listen, Parker and Brandon.
Yeah, but he says it,
suggested
and I
that.
don't like cringe a ton. You know what I'm saying?
So it's just me.
Yes.
Okay, you say it.
Howdy later. It just, I don't know. It just sounds good. It just sounds goofy.
Okay, yo, hold on.
It just sounds goofy. That's
No.
all I'm saying. I'm just saying. I don't know. Parker saying it like, I don't know. It's just Parker. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, you heard it here first, folks. You know, I'm just not as good as Parker. So,
That's not
Parker.
what just-
Parker,
okay,
come on the
wow,
show.
this
We'll
is
get Parker on
crazy.
the show.
Yeah, we need to get him on the show.
You know what I mean?
But how are we gonna do that?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to smuggle him through the, the wall of police barricades that are apparently up. I think that's what people are thinking is going on with this thing.
No, they're thinking that there's tanks rolling down the streets,
That's
making
what
sure
I'm
it's
saying.
martial law. Like, hey, folks,
back in your house.
we don't got martial law going on.
No.
Just so you know.
I just want you to know.
It's not gonna happen, dog. We're fine.
Yeah.
You know?
If martial law happens,
That'll be something, wouldn't
trippy,
it? That'll
dude.
be something, wouldn't it? That'll be a first.
crazy.
That'll be a first. We've never had martial
Yeah, I
law in
don't
this
think
country.
we've ever had.
Mm.
Yeah. Even
Maybe in like a county. Oh, do you think when the Baylor thing or the Waco thing was going on? No, I don't
know
even
what
think.
I don't think that's martial
even
law.
think when
I think
the
they just
Waco-
locked that thing
Yeah,
down.
I don't think that's not even.
Which also that's a blunder by the
It was martial
United
law
States
for
government.
it was
That
martial law
crazy.
for them. I guess they had their own militia going on.
Yeah.
I guess in a way.
I wonder. I mean, Civil War didn't. I mean, I don't even know if martial law
Does
was
that
really
count? Yeah.
instituted.
Does that count?
I don't think that was even
They
okay.
didn't. They didn't declare martial law. They just went to war.
Yeah, I don't think martial
They kind of skipped that step.
Martial law is like a more recent development of a concept. I feel like because like I don't
It's
think you
post
could-
Constitution. I think.
You know what
for
I'm saying?
sure,
Because
yeah.
I don't think you can. I don't think that the
And
the
even in
concept
Civil
of being
War-
able to like lock down an entire nation.
Even in Civil War, that we didn't have martial law because there was still like a governing body other than the military.
right.
You
Well,
know?
and I think that like if you think about it, I think martial law now would be so much easier because like people don't have tanks. You know what I'm saying? If you institute martial law back then, they can fight back a little bit harder because it's like it's pretty even. You got a cannon, you got a musket.
Yep.
You can fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not that bad.
You can't compete against F-16s and. frickin'
No, I mean
tanks
you're
and
trying to shoot. You're trying to shoot a
like
straight up.
armored
You're trying
Humvees
to
with
shoot
a
a
20 millimeter on the top.
A freaking, you've got a stealth bomber that just zooms by and you can't even see it, just
Dude,
bombs you. Like, no,
Dude,
you're not gonna
dude,
fight that.
An A-10 can take out a whole subdivision in like half a run.
It's ridiculous. Well,
It's
and that's what
nuts.
I'm saying. Like those, you can't even see the stealth. They're just zoom, and you're like,
No.
well, where'd it go?
You know, that's
And you're
nuts.
dead.
Technology's crazy. Thanks so much for watching.
That was a great conclusion.
Yeah.
Little debate.
Yeah. I love you.
Oh wow.
That'll be something else. You know what I mean?
On the